Today, let's talk about what's behind successful people. You probably know folks who you look at and you think, man, they are so good. Like they've got this kind of success or that kind of success, or they've accomplished this or that. You may even know some folks who you think, geez, seems like everything they touch turns to gold. There's even that phrase, everything they touch turns to gold. Sometimes it's easy to wonder, well, what's going on? How can I understand that? How can I replicate that to bring more of that into my life? So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down some of these pieces behind success, talk about what's seen, talk about what isn't seen, talk about what we control and what we don't control. And we'll be able to use this to generate a bit of better and clearer understanding about what's out there and how we can do our parts differently. So this video is not gonna be the ultimate steps to forever success. It is, though, hopefully gonna help each of you think about success differently and reframe how you can be more successful. All right, for this, we're gonna use the time-honored iceberg analogy because it actually works really well for this. So we've got our water here and we've got an iceberg that comes up, and I'm not an iceberg artist in case anybody wasn't sure. So there we go. I know there's more under the water than is above the water. So we got that part down. All right. So what's important about using this? What I really like about this is there's parts we don't control, parts we do control, parts we see, parts we don't see. So let's look at it like this. I think of the water as our environment. So this is what we're all swimming in all the time. This is what's out there, and this is what we are making our way through life in. We don't control this. So these are things that are other people in our lives, when and where we're born, the kind of family situation that you're born into, when you're born, all kinds of physical characteristics, all kinds of opportunities that may or may not have been present for you. Those are things we simply don't control. A lot of people like to focus on this. I'm going to challenge everyone who's watching this to focus on some other parts. All right, so we've got this. We don't control this. This is the environment. There's also things we do control, and I like to think of that as what's underneath the water line. So if we take this iceberg and chop it in half, this is what we control. And this really breaks down into three things: mindset, behaviors, and our communications. Now, you're probably sensing a pattern here from things we've talked about in other videos, and yes, you're absolutely right. Here's where, though, this is going to start to come in a little bit differently. When we think about the parts that we do control, these are our personal processes. And this is really important because this is where we take our environment, which we don't control, and we decide how we're going to use our control in a healthy way to decide what we do. Now, I used a verb in there, which was where we decide what we do, because sometimes we don't decide. Sometimes we just do things, and all of us do this. Even some of the most intentional people you probably have known. I find myself doing things and later on going, oh, geez, Ivan, you dope. You could have done this, or you could have done that instead, or this is really what you were going for. And boy, I got way off track. So what's important to know is I'm not telling anybody you're gonna master every single personal process, every single mindset, behavior, or communication pattern you ever have. It's going for more. That's simply what I'm pushing for. So now, what's on top? What's on top here? This is all the stuff we do see. So this is the part that's highly visible because this is the set of outcomes from our personal processes. So if you're wondering, well, what are the outcomes from personal processes? These are things like awards. These may be pay or some kind of other perks at work. This may be a title or a position. This could be a academic achievement, so maybe degrees. Any kind of success you can think of falls up here. This is, again, this is what's visible. So people often see this stuff and they go, man, dang it, how does that person keep doing it? How did they get here? In the military, I'd see generals and go, wow, I wonder Wonder how that guy got to be a 2-star. I wonder how she got to be a 3-star. And it was an easy focus on what we see. And oftentimes, again, we begin to, and I certainly do this, begin to say, how does this connect to this, to the environment, even though that may not be what creates this. Here's what's happening. We see this. We see the visible outcomes. We see the results of people's work. What we don't always see are the processes. We don't see the mindsets, the behaviors, and the communications that people use with themselves, they use with others, that create the foundation for all of this success. So what do these mindsets, behaviors, and communications look like or sound like? Glad you asked. These are things like choosing intentionally. That probably sounds familiar. There are also going to be things like practicing deliberately, whatever your craft or trade is. You're also going to find things like opening up someone's mind. So I'm in the process of opening up my mind to hear what others have to say. I may also be requesting feedback from others. So what the trend is in here is all of these are ing. These are the ing there is missing. This is all where I am doing something to create a result. Now here's also a key part of this. We can, and I love the analogy of even the blind squirrel can find a nut or something like that. What we can begin to do is use more consistency here to create more consistency here. These will absolutely feed, these mindsets, behaviors, and communications will absolutely feed into these outcomes when we are consistent. If I can figure out how to spell that. Consistent. All right. So every once in a while, somebody may get here without these core pieces. And that's where sometimes we look at folks and go, dang it, how'd that guy get that contract? Wow, how did she achieve that particular rank? Wow, how did they get that degree? Sometimes parts of that fluky series of flukes, and some of those examples aren't the best for that. You get where I'm going though, and that sometimes we can stumble into some of this success. A big one that people see is they say, oh, look at all that money that person has. And we have no idea how they got that money, how they really got that money. So what's important is to separate some of these visible, oftentimes very tangible things that we want for ourselves and begin to think about it differently. Because now if we consistently choose to apply these kinds of mindsets, behaviors, and communications, what we are going to do is create for ourselves some of these. Let's use an example. Michael Phelps, and I'm not much of a swimmer. Michael Phelps, though, has always been a person, for a long time has been a person I've been really, really interested in. He shows consistently that he is practicing deliberately, literally in his swim practice. He is requesting feedback. You know, and I know, I've seen it in videos, he says to his coach, hey, how can I make this better? How can I continue to refine what I do? He's, even after winning 1, 2, 5, 8, 10, 15 gold medals, he still has an open mind how he can improve what he does, how he works better with others. So if we took Michael Phelps, and people can easily focus on the environment, well, he grew up with access to this pool or this coach or those kinds of things. Absolutely, he did. No two ways about it. People may also say he grew up and he's really tall and he's got long arms and super flexible feet. Sure, got it. No sweat. And if he didn't bring these things to the table on a consistent basis, he never would have gotten those gold medals. So he chose, through his consistent mindsets, behaviors, and communications, a path that would lead him to gold medals and to the kind of success that he's had. I would submit, and I would posit that folks who are really, really successful in one field can be really successful in other fields. And sometimes if you look at someone like a Michael Phelps, you may say, and I would argue, if I took Michael Phelps and said, hey man, I'll challenge you to be the best dart thrower you can be. I'll challenge you to be the best pencil sketcher you can be. Something that's totally not swimming related, because of these core ways that he works and because of the consistency that he applies to them, I have no doubt he could become a fantastic horseshoe or a fantastic dart player or horseshoe thrower or pencil drawer or anything else. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. Please subscribe so you can be notified whenever we have a new video that comes out. Also, if you'd like, please hit the Wingspan Performance website. That's wingspanperformance.com, all one, obviously all together. And you can sign up for our weekly email. That way you'll get access to not only our videos, you'll also get access to any of the written blogs that we have. While you're at the brand new and hot to trot Wingspan Performance website, please check out our blogs. It has been a heck of a process to create the new website and bring it to you guys. We hope you really like it. You can search through some of the past blogs better, and we put them in a category so that they're a lot easier for you to find. Look forward to seeing you again. Again, hope this video was helpful. Please drop in the comments any other thing you'd like us to make sure that we talk about or bring up on future videos. Thanks. See ya.